Channel Z and Knox Brew Hub present Knox Brew Radio and Podcast, an in-depth look at the craft beer scene in Knoxville and the latest craft beer news from around the country and all over the world. Brought to you by First Century Bank, family-owned local banking since 1894. And by longtime friends of the show, Grayson Subaru. Broadcasting live from the Hub in downtown Knoxville every Monday at 6 p.m. And now, kick back and crack one open with local beer's best friends, Zack, Ace, and Stryker.
Well, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to Knox Brew Radio and Podcast. As always, we are recording this show for you live down here at Knox Brew Hub at 421 Union Avenue, right around the corner from Market Square. And we're so happy to have you, and thanks for joining us and being listeners of the show. As always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and our excellent team that make us sound good and look good. Immediately to my right, we've got Ace, the Ace of Beers over here. Hey, Ace.
Hey, how are you doing today, Zack?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I am so good. Can't wait to tell you why.
Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Hey, what should we call our third co-host today? We seem to give him a new nickname every week. What should we go with this week?
David.
Kevin 11.
Kevin 11. All right, we got Kevin 11 joining us over here.
Welcome.
And we've yet to mention this on the radio show, but Kevin happens to be the newest member of the Yeehaw Brewing team, or the Yeehaw team here in Knoxville.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and this is a drinking show. We say this every week, so I think we should drink to that.
I'll drink to that. Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
Congrats,
Cheers.
Kevin.
Thank you.
And then behind...
Paychecks are nice.
Yeah, they are nice. Behind Mama Calls Me Kevin, we've got our wonderful video and audio producers, Cam, the Cam Man.
Hi, how is everyone? Hi.
Hi.
So far, we've not regretted giving Cam a microphone, but we'll see how that goes.
It's gonna be
to
very soon that
Very
you
soon.
do. Yeah.
Cam, real quick, tell us about our Patreon.
Oh yeah. So if you want to go to patreon.com/KnoxBrewStories, you can check out all the different tiers that we have if you want to help contribute and keep the show alive. So it's patreon.com/KnoxBrewStories. We have a patron named Ryan Buds of Trivia with Buds already, who gets a live shout out every week, live on air because he contributes. If you want to do that, we have some really cool things and a couple shirt designs and some merch stuff that I've been working on, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be beautiful.
And
Thank you, Cam, for doing that.
I think one of the tiers is that you get to just like sit around and enjoy a beer with just us.
Let's do it. And then to the right of Cam, we have Silent Clyde.
Hi, I'm Silent Clyde.
He did that just to prove you wrong.
We have a wonderful show planned today. We've got some excellent guests that we're going to be introducing here in just a few minutes. But before we get started, we want to say a quick shout out to our wonderful sponsors for making the show possible. Grayson Subaru and Dan and the team over there, who are huge supporters of local beer and this show. Big thanks to them. And First Century Bank, a local family-owned bank downtown that we work with here at the Hub and at Knox Brew Tours. Everybody has a bank. Might as well have the best one. There you go.
Thank you, friends.
Thanks, First Century, and thanks to Grayson. All right, joining us up here at the table for our Brew News segment, we've got my brother, Dylan Roskop. Dylan, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thanks for finally having me.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. No, not mad about it at all, huh?
No, it's all good.
And to the left of Dylan, a good friend of mine since middle school, Miss Kate Kaufman. Kate, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And you can move that down if you want. Yeah, you got it.
It's so high for
Just a booster seat.
You can check out the YouTube channel if you want to know what that joke was about. So there you go.
That's right.
All right, and then today I want to say a quick shout out to our this is a long intro, but it needs to be said. A quick shout out to our wonderful audience rocking the silent disco headphones from Born and Raised Productions. You guys can all hear me, right? All right, just want to let everybody know there's a little volume knob on the side of your headphones. So come down here and join us at the Hub for the Silent Disco Radio Show, and we'll be doing a live tasting here in just a few minutes. All right, let's dive right into it with this week's Brew News. All right, Dylan, the reason we've got you up here on the table is because we're going to be doing a really special event this Sunday for Restoration House.
Yes.
We wanted to talk about this. Tell us a little bit before we talk about the event. What is the Restoration House?
Yeah, the Restoration House is a nonprofit organization, and their mission is just to be there and to help single mothers in our community, provide them with housing, different job opportunities, help them with their children, child care, whatever it may be. Being a single mother is difficult, and the Restoration House is there to help them and get them back on their feet and get them jobs and stable and whatever they can for them.
And so, additionally, supporting the Restoration House is Master Services, the company that you work for.
Right.
And also First Century Bank.
Exactly.
Who is going to be doing a really unique event this weekend to support Restoration House. Tell us about that event, and then tell us how we're involved at Knox Brew Hub.
Yeah, so the Restoration House, their big fundraiser every year. It's called Over the Edge. You raise money to go rappelling down the 16-story First Century building right here in downtown.
Whoa.
And so it's a big, big event. Yes, people are flying and rappelling down the First Century building. You raise money to be able to jump and go over. And so who I work for full-time is Master Services. We've been involved in this event and with Restoration House for quite a few years now. And we send people over the edge every year. And so what was nice is being with Zack at the Knox Brew Hub is we now have an avenue to help out Master Services and Restoration House by having a fundraiser event because, well, we need to raise some money so we can send our general manager over the edge.
But that'll be in 2 Sundays, right? The first Sunday, no, next Sunday.
Our fundraiser is August 1st here at Knox Brew Hub. We are going to have a big event. Jack FM, a local radio station, will be here. We're going to be having specials, games, and then every purchase of a local beer on the tap wall, we'll be taking $1 of every beer and putting it towards the fundraiser for Master Services GM. There'll be donation bowls, everything for that. The actual event for Over the Edge is not until August 22nd, I think, something like that. It takes us a little while. I have to say it's not cheap to send somebody over the edge.
Yeah, so I was going to ask.
So we've got to do raising some money. Master Services has quite a few events, but
So here, to our wonderful, beautiful audience always joining us here, who here is interested in rappelling down the First Century building?
Oh my gosh, me.
Okay.
probably do.
Who here is interested in paying for Candace to rappel down the First Century building?
Everybody.
Hell yeah.
Dale, how much do we need to raise to send Candace down the First
I was
Century
going to
bank?
ask, on behalf of myself.
okay.
but-
So the first person for Master Services, we need to raise $2,500
Okay.
Yeah, help me, please.
for Dustin to go over the edge. He's our general manager at Master Services, and then I think we can piggyback off of Master Service. Each additional person is just another $1,000.
Okay. All right.
And so, Candace, I technically think you've probably got about 3.5 weeks.
To raise $1,000.
And if we can get that done, then we'll go strap you up and send you down 16 floors of the First Century building.
that'd be pretty
yeah.
rad. So I will do my
All right.
darndest.
So,
Thank you,
Cam,
Dylan.
you already started a Patreon account for us.
Yeah.
Now we need to start a GoFundMe for Candace.
We can do that. I'll also say
Push
that
Candace off a building.
if anyone joins our Patreon this month, we'll use that money to send Candace over.
Yeah.
I'm totally down for that.
Yeah.
Hey,
great.
I'll drink to that.
I
bring
will
it up as
definitely
well.
drink to that.
Cheers.
That's
Cheersies.
perfect.
Push me off a building, y'all. Please.
I don't know. I think people might pay more to throw me off a building, but that's sans bungee cord or ropes or harnesses or
Give me 3 more
anything
weeks
else.
with a microphone. And
The big part is just August 1st down here at the Hub, noon to 4, live radio, fundraisers, games, cornhole, raffles, giveaways, silent auction items. the whole
All to
thing.
benefit
So,
Restoration House. So
it's all for Restoration House, and it should be a great time.
awesome. Thanks, Dylan.
Love it.
All right, now we're going to move over to Ace for our next Brew News segment. And this particular Brew News segment or piece deserves a drum roll. Candace?
All right, gang. The news that you have all been waiting for, and trust me, a bunch of people have, and they've been reaching out for a long time, but it is finally back. We get to announce today officially that after 500 days to the day, we are back running our original Brew Bus tours.
Brew Tours is back, baby.
That means that every Friday night at 6:30 p.m. and then every Saturday at noon and 3:30, we are going to be rolling out our brew buses and taking your beautiful faces all around our beautiful Knoxville craft brewery. So please get on the
Hooray.
bus with us.
And one thing that's super exciting to add to this is that during COVID, Knox Brew Tours actually added 4 breweries to our list of breweries.
Yeah.
So you
Crazy.
may have taken the tour before, but now we can show you a side of Knoxville, Knox Brew tour style maybe you haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Beard and Brew House, Orange Hat,
Barrel House by Gypsy Circus,
Geezers and
and Zool. So
Zool.
that's 5.
Five.
We've got 5 of them.
All added to
actually.
the tour.
I will be
Amazing.
signing up immediately.
Yes, please.
And
I
I will drink to that.
I will
Yeah.
definitely
Cheers.
drink to that. Cheers,
Cheers.
y'all.
One more quick funny story is we were working on that social media post today, and I said to Ace,
Oh, no.
let's look up how many days it's been since the last brew tour that we ran, which was March 13th. It is exactly 500 days.
Exactly.
So we've gone 500 days without running a brewery tour, y'all. Or a bus tour. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Glad it's
That's
back.
awesome.
All right, it is now time for that damn seltzer report.
And you know what? It's a good one today.
Yeah?
It's a good seltzer report
Oh,
because is there trouble brewing in seltzer land?
Oh my gosh.
Is hard seltzer losing its fizz?
Ooh.
Is the seltzer craze falling flat?
Oh my gosh, keep it going.
Well, the people that write headlines sure think so, and Wall Street was the one to break the story in a truly spectacular way. Boston Beer Company, David Berwick, said Friday that the company was surprised by the disappointing second quarter sales of its truly hard seltzer, telling CNBC in an interview that management does not look very smart after its prior forecast. Shares of Boston Beer plummeted Friday, closing down 26% at $701 apiece as Wall Street reacted very negatively to the company's worse-than-expected quarterly results released Thursday evening. Now, this comes just as Heineken's new Arizona Sunrise Hard Seltzer is ramping up its marketing campaign in preparation for its launch. Does this mean seltzer is dead? No. But I do believe that we've officially hit the high bubbly watermark, and the tide is now receding.
Well, I actually want to add to that. I think that may not be the full story. I think we're going to continue to see the rise of the seltzers overall.
Yeah.
But we're seeing a decline in the brand Truly. And we saw this with Sam Adams.
So are they going to white claw their way back up to the top?
We hope not. But
So
I
we
think
talked
you're right.
about this with Boston Lager from Sam Adams, that it was very popular because it was craft. And then as we started to get more local brands, that brand struggled.
Right, and there's still more and more coming out.
And we're seeing, more and more seltzers here at the hub, and therefore we're selling less Trulies.
Right.
Because we're selling more regional and local and craft seltzers.
Well, and I mean, there's only a finite, amount of space on shelves in your coolers. Only so many can fit in the
Right.
marketplace,
Well,
and so
not
now
only
we're getting
that.
to the point where you are seeing a more diverse variety, and some of them are going to win, some of them are going to lose, but I think we've kind of hit that mark where maybe now some of these companies that were considering, hey, we need to jump on this bandwagon
Yeah.
and launch, like I said, Heineken's getting ready to launch their new one, and they're seeing all this going on,
Right.
and maybe they're going to have a
Yeah.
little pause about it. We'll see. In other seltzer news, last Wednesday I participated in probably the most self-harmful activity so far in my life. I sat down with some of the other members of the Channel Z family, Sarah B., Pastor Adam, and Mama Strike, and we did an event right here at the Hub that we named That Damn Seltzer Tasting, where we sampled 33 seltzers in a 5-hour period.
What?
We rated each one on a scale of 1 to 5 bubbles, and we tried brands ranging from local breweries to the big names. Now, whose seltzer reigned supreme? Any guesses?
I'm going to go with Ranch Water.
I've already asked you. I know.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, something local.
None.
Any guesses?
None of
No?
them. They were all zeros.
Well, you'll find out soon because the event was recorded and it is being edited to be a podcast exclusive coming soon to Knox Brew Stories.
Cliffhanger.
Sneaky Kevin 11.
That's what we
Son
call
of
a
a glitch.
tease.
Keep them thirsty.
yeah.
All right, perfect. Is that it?
That is it.
I mean,
I
I
got nothing
do
else.
have to say, you mentioned the finite shelf space. There's also finite attention span. I mean, for myself, if you asked me to list how many seltzers there are, I could probably give you about 3 right off the top of my head. So if there are others, I don't know.
Trust me, there are others.
Oh, boy. Well, 33 at least. At least.
All right, y'all. Is that it for this week?
That is it.
All right, folks. That's it for this week's Brew News. We're going to take a quick. I can't say what. I can't talk. Kate decided to take a picture of me, and I lost my brain at all. That was perfect. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick little musical break as we love music as much as we love beer.
What we got
when
today?
we come back, we've got two kick-ass guests with us, Kate Kaufman from Alliance and Dylan Roskop, who is my brother. I said this at his wedding. I was fortunate to have Dylan as my brother since the day I was born, and he was fortunate to have me to have 4 years of his life without me. So there we go. We'll get back in just a few, and we'll chat with them. But for this quick musical break, Stryker, what are we listening to?
You know what? I thought I would throw in one that's maybe not quite as new as some of the stuff we've heard in recent weeks, but a great one nonetheless. And since there's been so much hype about the seltzer world and it's finally getting deflated a little bit, how about a little 21 Pilots with The Hype?
Yeah.
It's 21 Pilots with The Hype right here on Channel Z. And thank you for listening to Knox Brew Radio.
As always, this is clearly my favorite part of every single show, where we just get to sit down, hang out, drink some beer, and talk to people that we love and care so much about and who are very important to us. Today is particularly special because I think of every single guest that we've ever had on the show, I've known you two combined the longest by far.
Yep.
Honored.
Yes. So we have, again, Dylan Roskop, my older brother, and Kate Kaufman, who is a kick-ass member of the Alliance Brewing Company's team.
Yeah.
Duchess.
The Duchess.
The Duchess of South Knoxville.
Duchess of the Taps.
Will you accept that title?
I will.
Oh.
With pride.
With pride. I love that so much. Well, let's start with you, Kate. Thanks for being here and thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
By the way, y'all, our brew team is working hard here to pour you all some tastings. We're going to do a little tasting here of the Cubano Coffee Brown from Alliance Brewing Company.
Oh, yummy.
Such a good one.
It's a real popular beer, so we can all drink together.
Fabulous.
All right. Well, actually,
He's hyped. I can tell you, he's hyped.
as we're dishing this out here, Kate, tell us a little bit about your journey that led you to Alliance Brewing Company. I mean, who was Kate before Alliance?
Before Alliance?
Yeah.
Well, my craft beer career started in 2011. I started working at the Beard and Beer Market.
That's right.
I was approached by a gentleman named Chris Morton, and he
I'm trying to
asked me some great questions. He said, "Do you want to work here?" And I said, "I have 3 jobs already." And he was like, "Cool. Do you want to have an interview?" And I said, "Sure. Why not?" I was there getting my growler filled.
Yeah.
Because at the time that was one of the only places you could get growlers besides Smoky Mountain.
Yep.
So it was a big deal, actually. And he asked me one question in my interview, and it was, "Where is Sierra Nevada brewed?"
Interesting.
And that was it?
That was it.
Okay.
And I said,
In a
"It's
building."
not in Nevada. I know it's not in Nevada." And he asked me if I could start Friday, and I did. And it was,
Did you say California, or you just said not
I
Nevada?
just said, "It's not Nevada." And he said, "Great. Can you be here Friday at 5?" And I said, "Sure."
I love that. I would have been the
just
smartass. I would have
kind of
said,
went from there. I truly didn't know.
"Oh, yeah."
Oh.
I mean, I
didn't
did not
either
know.
Until many years later, I would have just been the smartass. Would have been like in a building. Would have been the answer. But yeah, then I would have got.
Sounds right.
I would not have gotten that job for sure.
Yeah, so I was there for almost 4 years.
And
After that.
and a lot of the individuals that were involved in Beard and Beer Market were a lot of the same people that sort of branched off of there, if you will, to start Alliance Brewing Company. So I would imagine that was a bit of the transition for you going from Beard and Beer Market to Alliance.
Yes, because I had left the beer market to move away to California. And I moved to California, and I was there for a year and a half. And when I came back, the guys had opened Alliance. It had been open for about 5 months. And they were like, "Hey, we remember that brewery we told you we wanted to do? Well, we did it, and we need help." And so that's how that started.
That's
And I
awesome.
just started working in the tap room. I had actually transferred from my job in California to a Knoxville location. And I was working, it was a 40-hour full-time job, and I was working at Crafty and Alliance, at both part-time. So back to the 3 jobs thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pattern. It's a pattern. And
It's either 1 or 3.
yeah, and that's it. So
Can't concur.
I just started part-time. I was doing part-time at both places and was offered full-time at Alliance. And so I jumped on that, and that was almost 6 years ago.
Oh, my
Dang.
God.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
believe. It's crazy. Hey, I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheersies.
Well done.
Cheers.
Speaking of drinking
Good journey.
to things,
Yeah.
everyone joining us here live at the Hub right now should have 4 ounces of the delicious Cubano Coffee Brown
Very
from Alliance
goodness.
Brewing Company. Kate, I did not prep you for this. I'm so sorry, but tell us what you know about this beer. No wrong answers. She's going to say it's coffee
good.
and it's brown. No, she knows more than that. but-
It's awesome. It's definitely one of our top sellers and one of our core beers. We have to have it. It has cold brew coffee from a local roaster here in Knoxville called Three Bears.
who used to be your neighbors.
Yes, and that's how that all started. Jeff used to have his shop right there in the same building that we're in. Simple is there now. But Jeff moved on to a larger building to expand his business. But it does have that cold brew coffee, some turbinado sugar, and lactose, a little bit of lactose.
Perfect. Let's all take a little
good.
sip here.
Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
It smells so good. It smells.
It's a coffee beer without being like, it's not heavy.
It's not aggressive.
Right.
Ooh, I'd replace that with my morning coffee.
You can.
So this is this.
Did I just get permission? So I
I
can
give you full
tell.
You don't
permission.
need permission.
Not for me.
That's fantastic.
I got here a little early, like I always do, to drink beer and set
course.
up. And this was back on the menu again. And
Cam, does that explain episode 10? No.
yes, 100%, 100%.
I'm totally
great.
teasing you.
No, I actually squealed. I made an out loud excited squeal that this was back up on the board. So,
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I love this beer.
I had a few the other night here as well.
And
I-
it tastes, for those who haven't had it, it's like coffee. It's just
I mean, the
So good.
cold brew is added later on in the brewing process, so you really do get that coffee flavor without like the burnt roast.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
not too like.
It doesn't have that astringentness you can get from a heavily roasted something.
It's
Yeah.
so
Right.
crispy.
Coffee bitterness that you have to be so careful with. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not that. The turbinado. When you said turbinado sugar, it's yes, absolutely not white sugar.
Yeah,
table
so anything
sugar,
if you
turbinado
ever see
sugars.
sugar in the raw or whatever, it's that same.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the type of sugar that
Yeah,
we
we
use.
That's good.
recently did a poll for recommendations from Knoxvillians on their favorite brown ale, and this beer was mentioned several times. So I
It's a
think
good one.
I think the craft beer drinkers of Knoxville are loving this beer. So let's raise our glass and toast to Kate Coffin and the team at Alliance Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, Lions. Cheers, Kate.
Cheers, y'all.
Duchess.
I love it. Even the people here who don't have headphones on, they just followed along. And let's see. I think we should later in the show see if we can get them to act us. So I want to do an experiment for those listening. Since we all have headphones, I think it would be funny if we all like stood up and then see if those two guys over there stand up also.
Pledge of Allegiance style.
We're doing the radio show on the silent disco gear, and not everyone here has
I
got their
think
headphones
that's a
on.
really good idea.
That's pretty
I
funny.
love it.
So maybe if we all get up and start singing the Pledge of Allegiance or something. It'd be funny. All right, let's talk over here to Dylan, my brother here. So Dylan is obviously been a part of my life for as long as I've been alive. He's been a wonderful brother. And more recently in my life has become a business partner as he has some involvement here with Knox Brew Hub. Before we get into all that, Dylan, tell us kind of the first time that you recall really falling in love with and appreciating craft beer.
I'll go back to high school. I was definitely not of age.
I was 7. I feel you.
Yeah, so
Whoa, Wisconsin's a different place.
for sure. For me, the biggest change, in high school, you grab whatever you can, chug some vodka and Gatorade, right? A Natty Light, whatever it may be, right? That was kind of funny.
Sorry, I'm
but
not making fun of you.
Any kind of alcohol, you're going to grab it. But it was, I think, somebody's parents' fridge. We're sneaking beers out. And there was...
I probably snuck beers out of that same fridge 4 years later.
Mine was
Are you
from a
thinking
bush.
of the same
I
family
think
I'm
we're thinking
thinking
of the
of?
same family, and Kate knows this family too.
Yeah.
As we went to middle school together, so
But it was...
We can discuss that after the show.
it
I'd love to talk more about that.
Coach
So-
Faust over here, I think, might know the same family I'm talking about too.
For sure. But anyway, it was darker in color. It wasn't American Light. And I was like, oh my gosh, this tastes so much better than the crap that I've, snuck and chugged prior to.
The good old snuck and chug.
Yeah,
old
sneak
snuck
it,
and chug.
Snuck and chug.
sneak it, chug it, throw it away, remove the evidence,
That's right.
and go on.
Possibly the most important step.
Exactly. Got to get rid of the evidence. But no, just that different flavor. That actually piqued my interest. And then with our parents owning restaurants, I walked around figuring I had this just phenomenal palate because, life
Yeah.
was all about food.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, this tastes different. And I started digging in and sneaking around plenty for the remaining of high school, trying to try different beers. It was a big thing. And at the end of high school, the biggest set-off is when Eric and I went to Europe for almost a month.
That's right. That was a graduation gift, right?
Yeah, I was 18 years old. I was in Europe for 20-something days. And I didn't... Whenever you go around Germany, mainly, you order a style, right? You don't order a brand.
Right.
Yeah, it's regional.
Yeah.
And,
so-
and Alliance does that a little bit too, where they name all their beers by the style.
Yeah, you just go order a style. And so I was on this Hefe kick, and it was just like wherever I want. I was like, Hefe, 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 Hefe. And so I was just drinking this unfiltered banana beer for like a month, right? And so that's where it all started. From there, it was just on and on.
I'm curious. What was this mysterious dark beer you pulled from the annals
it was
of the
like
fridge?
a Dos Equis Amber or a Negra Modelo, maybe.
Hell
that's what
yeah.
it was, or something
We
like
were
that.
definitely
here for the Mexican
drinking.
beer.
Yeah,
We were
so.
definitely drinking from the same fridge.
I know we were. I wasn't doubting you. We were neighborhood friends.
Just 4 years apart. That's all it took.
They will remain anonymous
Until they're not.
until the mics
until
are
they're
off.
Yeah, that's hilarious. So let me ask you this, Dylan. What was it like when? Do you recall the first time? You probably don't, because I don't. But the first time I called you or told you that I was thinking about starting a brewery tour company. Like, I mean, I was 25 at the time.
Yeah.
You were 29.
Yeah.
And what were you doing at 29? You weren't working for Master Services yet.
Almost.
Okay. You were on your way.
Almost. I was at Smart Home Fix at that time.
That's right.
I was back in Knoxville by then. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I remember the exact conversation.
I remember you and one of your co-workers at Smart Home Fix are actually the ones who built the seats in the original bus.
Oh yeah,
Fun fact.
The idea came about and we just went with it. So.
Here's actually a fun fact that most people don't know about. But Dylan's co-worker at the time, Kagan, helped build the original seats, the bench seating in Kathy, the brew bus that is still running to this day. He also did all of the work inside of Knox Brew Hub.
Oh, wow.
So
And it's beautiful.
he
Yes,
did
it
a
is.
phenomenal job. He did all the tile work behind the tap wall. He did all the shiplap behind the bar,
The shelving.
the shelving, the bar over by the window.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to see people come in and out of your life and have such a big contribution. And Barry Faust is doing the proper motion there. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I'll drink to
Yeah.
that too.
Thanks, Coach.
Dude,
Cheersies.
I walked in here and it felt like home immediately. So good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll drink to Kagan there.
Coach Kagan's another Bearden alum too.
Oh,
Go Dogs.
Kagan Anderson, yeah.
That's it.
Go Dogs. Yeah, Kate. You went to West, though, didn't you?
Well, I went to West my freshman year,
Okay, and then...
and then I graduated from Bearden.
Okay, and I
What
had left
year?
early, so we
Yeah,
were...
I was freshman at West, and then moved over to Bearden
So,
for a year.
Kagan was 06.
I'm 07.
06, yeah.
07.
I think Kagan was 06.
What's his last name?
Anderson?
Nah.
Nah.
I was not popular
Yeah.
in school.
No. It's quite the opposite. Kagan wasn't that No, I'm joking.
So I have to ask Kate,
Sure.
and I think we're going to have the same answer. Do you have any memories, specific memories of you and I
Yes.
in middle school?
Yes.
You do?
Yes,
I mean,
I
I
wanna hear 'em.
remember you
Story
being
time.
there.
There was that one time in the
Our
East
lockers
stairwell.
were right next to each other.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a little hurt, but I'm going to look over that. Yeah, our lockers were right next to each other
Okay.
in 6th grade.
In 6th grade. I feel terrible.
I
Right now
don't.
that I don't
It's
remember
fine.
that.
It was a long time ago.
You don't remember who had the locker next to you in 6th
No,
grade?
I just remember.
I do. It was
I-
Mike Stratton.
I blacked out those
Are you
years
kidding?
so
No, I'm not
hard.
kidding
those,
at all.
Those were not good years.
There's no lockers in Southern California.
What?
Okay.
You just throw
I
all your
also
stuff
have
in
a very
pile.
visual memory,
Okay.
so that's just my problem.
Okay.
And yes, that's my first memory of us at school together.
Was lockers next to each other. Okay. I feel a lot of guilt right now.
No, don't feel.
I'm not trying to kill you.
I have to remind him what happened Thursday. Okay,
That's true.
so
That's true.
like,
So real quick though, one thing I want to mention is it's really fun to see Kate and I both grow up and to be involved in a city that we love and an industry that we love. But here's another fun fact for all you folks out there. Kate and I are not the only Bearden Middle School alumni to be in the beer industry here in Knoxville, as our friend Blaine Wedekin is the owner of Balter Beer Works.
It's true.
Yes.
It's all true.
So
Blaine and I rode the bus together. Betty doesn't remember that either.
No, where was his locker? Where was his locker?
not next.
My memory with him is on the bus. Okay, that's all I got.
I actually have a yearbook that has Kate and Blaine and I all in it. And Blaine and his now wife won the superlative for best looking or
I
best
know.
dressed. Or no, I think Cesar got best dressed.
They're beautiful people.
They
What
were.
do you want from them?
hey,
So
can
they-
I add one?
Yeah, go for it.
Nick at Albright's a Bearden Middle alum.
Oh yeah, but I mean like our class. But yeah. Nick went to
Yeah, not
West-
yours, old guy.
Yeah, 4 years. 4 years is totally different. But
Well,
Nick Barron is from Knoxville. He's Bearden Middle West High.
Yeah, yep. I'm sure we've got a lot of people that have seen how great of a town we have and have stayed and poured themselves into it, and so I'm just so happy to be a
That's
part
cool.
of it.
Wait, hold on. What about you, Kevin?
What about me?
Where did you go to school for middle school?
You know, I went to Doyle Middle back when there was such a thing,
Dole.
and then I went to Dole
Dole.
High Pineapples. Come on now.
That's it.
No, and then I went to Doyle High School, and our class was so good. We were so awesome that they were like, it doesn't get any better than this, and they shut the school down right after we graduated.
Oh wow! I
And
did not know
combined
that.
it with South Young High School.
Nobody
And
talks about the fire.
Today you have, we talk about the fire.
Billy Joel doesn't.
We, he talks about it. He just claims to not have anything to do with it. But no, the year after we graduated, they combined South Young and Doyle and made South Doyle, and that mistake lives on today because the idea of combining two rival schools within the same part of town just didn't sit well with a
So
lot of
quick.
folks.
So
I'm glad I
quick,
graduated
too.
when I did and got out of there. And it's
Yeah.
very timely that you mentioned that because our 30-year reunion was Saturday night.
How did that
Happy
go?
anniversary.
It was awesome.
And you did it at Imes, but it
Did
was
it at Imes
catered by
Agency.
Last Days.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh,
And
that's,
I had to-
that's awesome.
That is awesome.
And I had to call Zack on Saturday night and be like, "Hey man, can I use your walk-in because I have a ridiculous amount of leftover food." And I had to find a place to put it.
I mean,
but-
you could have asked me, and I would have put it in my stomach, and I would have kept it very, very safe for you.
Yeah, Candace and I
No,
are
it
on
was
the same
it,
team.
it was a full. I mean, it was a full buffet of leftovers. It was insane.
I love that. All right, so Kate, you are a lover of craft beer as a consumer, and you also work in the industry as part of the team at Alliance. And Dylan, you love craft beer as well, and are now involved professionally as an owner of a small business. What do you feel like draws you to the craft beer industry, and personally and professionally? Whoever wants to answer that.
You want me to take this first?
Go
you
for
wanna-
it.
Okay. Well, personally, and it's obvious, it's on repeat on the show, but it can't be overstated. it's always about the culture. It's always about the people that's about it.
You're here.
You can't overstate it. That's what draws you to it. It's the smiles, it's the laughs, it's the high fives, the handshakes, the good beers. That's the easy part, right?
I've made this joke before. If every single brewery just picked one beer and only made one beer, I feel like the community would still be just as strong because we've set the precedent for the community that it's created.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Now, we all love the beer, and we all enjoy the beer, and we all care about the beer. But if for some crazy reason there was some crazy law, you can only make one beer, I think it would still be just as strong.
I agree, and personally as well, of course you. I mean, of course you've had a massive influence. I mean, the way you got into it, what you saw. Yeah, of course it's cute, but I mean, when Zack started, there was 4 breweries in town, right? Mm-hmm. I will admit I've called him crazy plenty of times.
Oh,
you
I
know?
on the tours. I tell people, I'm like, talk about foresight.
Yeah,
the fact that they only start with that many.
I mean, completely crazy.
Don't confuse foresight with luck. There's some of that too.
Maybe
There's
a bit
hope.
of both.
There's hope and luck.
And don't confuse humble with genius.
Well, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, brownie points.
There you go.
But yeah, of course, you see your brother get into it, and he's calling and asking business questions and trying to start a brewery tour, and you've got conservative numbers, dad and brother sitting there saying, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, where does this start?" But his involvement and how deep he's taken it and how far and how it as far as the brewery world, of course I was sucked in. And I'm happy I did, and I'm happy he did what he did because it's a great part. It's a great thing to be a part of.
So what went through your head when I sent you an email and said, "You want to buy a bar?"
Actually, I just straight got excited. I wasn't near as nervous about this. I knew where you were in the community and the opportunity, and I, for some reason, in the back of my crazy mind, thought trying to open up a business during a pandemic is actually maybe a phenomenal risk-reward option here. And so when you called and said, "Hey, listen to this," I think my first words were, "All right, let me see their numbers," because that's where I go, and that's my involvement here. I'm not going to be here serving mini beers or doing that kind of thing. My involvement's totally on the other side of the business, but I actually wasn't that worried or scared about it, honestly.
How has it been professionally, I guess? Not really professionally, but has it been a rewarding experience for you
100%.
so far as a bar owner?
100%.
You and I both have never been bar owners before. We grew up in a family of restaurant owners, so we have experience working in restaurants and working in bars, but what is this? I mean, technically, Knox Brew Hub is your first small business, sort of.
Yeah, second.
Yeah. How does that? I mean,
It is. It's fantastic. It's cool because I get to lean and know that you are taking care of it. Straight up, actually. My involvement's not here. It's not every day, and it's nice knowing that I can go on vacation. I just know you've got it handled. Because you really do. With
he
the
is a boss
tours
like that.
and everything else,
I know
it's not hard on that part.
And I know that when my cuppeth overfloweth,
Yeah.
that you're there to take care of that.
100%. That's part of my job. Absolutely. So that's all. My job is to grab him by the tail every now and again and rein him in. Okay.
Feel ya.
But I've always said I'd much rather work with a tiger that you have to pull their tail than try to get a lamb to get going.
Yeah, how
true.
often
Okay,
is every
and
now and again? I feel like
it's,
that's very...
Well, every now and again, daily, hourly, whatever, it doesn't matter. But working, like I said, I'd much rather work with a tiger that you have to grab a tail than you can't make a lamb motivated or hungry, right, to go hunt. And this guy's the tiger, and he's great to work with. His ideas are just nonstop.
A well of ideas.
It
Never
and
ending.
What's nice is he'll ask me a question. Dylan, what do you think about this idea? Zack, that's shit.
And here's what happens. I either convince him that's worth doing,
This is so true.
or I give up.
And he hired me anyway.
Me too.
But we talk through it. What's nice is we have that relationship. there's no hard feelings. Everything's checked at the door. We know the difference between brother and partner. And I don't even know if we've never even had to have that conversation. Like, we get the difference. That's what's worked. And so when you ask professionally about the community, the support is fantastic. And then watching you shine and do your thing is makes it easy.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Ace, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I do have to say, I mean, it's one thing to verbally support someone and to love them through something, but to throw your own money down to actually put the effort into doing something, that's pretty impressive.
I'll bet on this guy anytime.
I'll drink to that. I'll drink to that.
I will. Cheers, y'all.
Yes.
This is so sweet.
I need to start getting some guests on here that don't know me, because this show's just turning into a Zack love fest.
It is a Zack Love Fest. We're behind
We need
it.
more
we're,
of
we're
those.
like,
It's supposed to be the opposite.
fans.
I'm trying to love on you guys.
Oh.
Oh, Zach, you suck. I
Thank
hate
you. That's what I'm talking about.
and
I
that's
need
why
more
we hired you.
Nerd. Big nerd.
big old nerd. Kate, what does the beer community and industry mean to you personally and professionally?
Well, to build on what you said, of course, yeah, the community is awesome. The connections that I've made, the people that I've met, and that I've made lifelong relationships out of is just priceless.
Yeah.
And the support that comes from those, you know, the support that comes out of those relationships just means a lot to me.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually why I'm drinking.
Cheers to you.
And I've got to say as well, Kate.
After she drinks to that.
Yeah. So after drinking that, of course,
We're
you
okay
can't-
with
it's
awkward
not
silences
apropos,
on
yeah.
this show
Cool.
because
we
that
gotta
means
drink.
that
It usually means we're all drinking. Yeah.
No, hold on. But yes, Kate. I mean, I've got to say, coming into the beer industry and coming from Green Bay, there weren't a ton of women in the beer industry, but to come to Knoxville, it was like there was an abundance of, which was amazing. But to meet you and the other lovely ladies at Alliance, and to just have that warmth and acceptance immediately, because as well, from one girl to another, you can come across the whole, you can't sit here. There's not room at this table.
It's competitive as hell.
It is, especially, I feel like, especially being a woman in the beer industry.
Yes,
there
it
is
really
that
is.
sense of like, there's just not enough room here at the table.
And all going back to earlier when I was in California, like, God, we have something really special here.
Yeah.
Because it is not like that out there in the real world.
It's really not. Knoxville really does have something special, and you have people from outside coming in to say, yeah, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and when you're accepted and taken in and supported, and
This is
it's a big deal. It's a huge deal, actually.
No, it makes all the difference. You want to put forth the effort because you feel like you're welcome. You feel like you belong.
Yeah. This is a weird unit of measure, but we can fit 12 people on a Knoxville Tours bus.
Thank you for shouting that out, Zach. Appreciate you.
There are more than one brew bus worth of women professionally in the Knoxville beer
Hell yeah,
community.
there is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a good place to start. And hopefully there'll be 10 bus fulls in the future.
And not those short buses either, like them big old long ones.
Big old ones.
Like them,
The
them
real
big,
bus.
long double-decker ones like they got over there in England.
Exactly.
I'm making Clyde's job so hard because it made me laugh so hard, and I'm just got the biggest voice, and he has to immediately turn me down.
Turn down that mic.
we need to get Cam a mic with an on and off switch.
Yes, it'd be beautiful.
His mic has an on and off switch, and Clyde controls it.
I can mute him whenever I want.
Oh, there he is! There he is!
He has the power.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very rare snow leopard has made an appearance on the show.
He's come out
The
of
rare
his cave.
and beautiful snow leopard.
Just to
By
silence
the
Cam
intern.
and
Yeah, that's perfect.
sleep now.
Well, we've got time here for one more question. Hey, as the show continues, I keep wondering if we need to start it at 5:30 so that we can do this. So we have more time for the interview.
It is fun to chat.
Hey, we can
Yeah.
totally go long.
Yeah, we can.
I know the owner.
Yeah, I was gonna say
of both the venue and the station.
Yeah,
So.
perfect.
I know a guy.
Kate, let me ask you this question first.
Okay.
As you, we've asked, this has been a tradition on the show. As you look back in the peak of COVID, let's just say March of 2020 to March of 2021. What was a moment for you that you'll never forget that was overwhelmingly positive? Maybe
positive.
Yeah, maybe something that you experienced at work or professionally that you feel like 20 years from now when someone asks you about this time period that you'll remember for the rest of your life. If you need a minute, I can ask Dylan a different
They
question.
don't prep you for these questions.
We
Saul.
don't. No, we don't.
I mean, if you need a filler, I had to stifle a laugh because I just watched a girl fall off one of those scooters into the fence.
Poor thing.
Oh, yes, that's awesome.
Y'all be careful out there.
Yeah.
Okay, I have it. It's a really it was an emotional time because it felt like a bad thing at the time, but it actually was positive in the end. I was working on a Sunday night at the brewery. We were to go only, and I was working with my dear friend Emily Joy, and we ran out of cans. Mm-hmm. And we had been busy all week and day, and we had to close early, and it was very surreal because there was no one around. It was a ghost town. It was like kind of scary actually, and we hung out and talked about how weird it was and like just like being kind of afraid together.
Yeah.
Of like we had no idea what was going to happen. We didn't know when we were going to get cans again, when we were going to be able to work again.
Yeah, you were afraid together, but you were together.
We were together, and we got drunk.
As you do when you're in a building full of beer with no
Yeah.
cans to put it in. What are you gonna do with it?
And
It's got to go somewhere.
we turned up the music really loud, and we danced and we sang, and it was very cathartic.
Sounds joyful.
I remember very specifically.
We went Facebook Live if you want to look it up.
Oh, I love that.
It was really weird, but awesome.
I remember very specifically feeling scared, but not feeling alone
Yeah.
because I felt like
Yeah.
that something that I was dealing with every single person on this
Yeah, I
planet
knew there
was
were
also
other
dealing
people
with
out
it.
there facing the same things or worse even. But then like I also like looking back now, just I really hadn't even thought about it until you asked me that question, was that we had been so busy, been so supported, like that we kind of sold out of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was huge too because we had an immense support
And I can
system.
imagine you're like, we're going to make some cans and hope people buy them.
Yes.
And it went from I hope people buy some cans to
like,
holy
we-
shit, we're out of cans.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's just, yeah. So it felt scary and not great when it was like at first, but it really was actually a huge moment of growth and like insight.
Yeah.
And looking back at that.
One common theme that we've heard on the show is that nobody wanted to take a break. But once it happened, they realized it was the break that they needed. It was like I didn't want to be off work for a whole summer. Like I didn't want to be forced to do this, but then by doing it, they're like, damn it, I needed that.
It does help with growth, a pause.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes you just need a pause.
So does 14 hours of sleep a day, but we won't talk about that.
Correct me if I'm mistaken, and I hope I speak for everybody here, but please speak up if you don't feel this way. But there's also a part of me that feels like that was scary, and we made it, and we pushed through it, and we did it together. It makes me feel like whatever the next challenge is, I might be a little less afraid.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
We can face it.
it's like, okay,
Yeah.
if we did that, we can do this.
Yeah.
It kind of, and that was a big thing for me.
Well, it kind of breeds resiliency in that
Yeah.
way. It gives you the confidence to know, you know what, that was a pretty big challenge, and that's behind me now.
Yeah.
Well,
Trauma bonding.
yeah.
Or we'll just trabonding.
Yes.
Tronding.
Tronding.
Well, what
Tronding.
Kate- what
I'll
Kate's
drink
ref-
to Trabond.
Bonding.
What Kate's referring to is sometimes when you get something ripped away, you realize what you had.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that's
Oh,
the big thing.
God,
right?
here,
You
here.
don't
Exactly, Dylan.
You don't get it. You don't understand the support maybe fully. or the cans or anything, and then all of a sudden when it's gone, it's like, oh my gosh, we had this.
And then
I
it
think
started
that's a
getting
huge
busy
part.
again, and then I was like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
so tired.
No, okay, don't
We
worry.
opened up, and I was like, what have I been doing this whole time?
Yeah.
I should have been working out. Oh, God.
exactly. Okay,
You're definitely not wrong.
Zach
there.
and I talked plenty about Alliance and their actually success through the pandemic and figuring it out, and all your crowlers
Dude,
and all your to-go
we have
beer.
a huge support system
Yeah.
in South Knoxville and Knoxville in general, but our neighborhood people and our regular patrons are just
we
they're
talked-
the bee's knees.
We
for
talked about that group a lot.
Yeah.
Like, can we open up a bar during the pandemic? Right? Is this that crazy, or is it actually hopping into something that's just that great?
Did you say the
So-
term risk reward earlier?
Yes.
Buddy,
I like that.
It,
I like that.
This was obviously a huge risk reward for us.
I will say this, and I'll be honest, and if everybody wants to dive into deeper detail, we can off the air. But I don't think that we would be sitting here in this bar doing this radio show if COVID-19 had not happened.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, 100%, no way.
No.
And I want to make it very clear that it was a very bad thing, and it did a lot of bad things for a lot of people. And I'm not downplaying that at all.
No, COVID sucks.
It
Yeah.
does. It did create an opportunity for us that I don't think would have been there otherwise.
Yeah.
I completely agree because it caused me to have to make some necessary pivots myself, and some of those things led to us being here too. It kind of
Yeah, that's
made
true.
it made an imperfect storm, if
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not ideal situations, but pivots out of necessity, bringing things together and bringing things to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I moved here during a pandemic.
There you go. See,
And
I
look
moved
at you
cross
now,
country.
thriving.
Yeah, thriving, and
Thriving.
part of it is because of this place. I
Yeah.
met people, I found a community, and you
That's
guys
awesome.
opened something up that is like literally a hub for everyone to come and have a town watering hole.
It's right in the
thank
name.
you. That's it.
Well,
Yeah.
real quick, while Kate was saying something very sentiment, if you rewind this podcast, you might hear me laughing. I want to make it clear, I was not laughing at the sentimental thing you're saying.
You saw a girl on a scooter
No.
in a trash can?
That's what they all
That's happening
say.
a lot today.
I was laughing at what you said before,
Which was
which was I should have been working out. So one of the things that COVID taught me was
Except
the
for me.
idea that if you cook all your meals at home, you'll lose weight. That's a bunch of bullshit.
Lie.
Yeah.
Liars.
well,
And-
it is if you just have pizzas all the time.
Yeah. And then the other lie I've been telling myself for 20 years is I can't work out. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had 6 months of no work and I gained 20 pounds.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's same
I think-
here.
I think
I had
work-
the brilliant idea of treating myself to a combined anniversary / wedding gift back in April
yeah.
of 2020.
Yeah.
I bought a kegerator.
There you go.
And my whole thing was, well, I can't, go to
You'll save
these
money, so
breweries
you're
with the
still
frequency
supporting
that I
local,
used
though.
to. Oh, yeah. I mean, but that was the whole thing. It's like, well, since I can't go there and spend money regularly,
Yeah.
I'll just, one-stop shop, get a keg, bring it home, drink it dry, go back, get another one. And I did that. And somehow didn't find time to work out either.
Dude, listen,
Amazing.
Kevin, you're not alone, though, because we sold, our keg sales went way up. In
Yeah, I
COVID.
know. I'm the
And
one
that's
buying
something- You and Johnny Miller.
Me and
Yes.
Johnny Miller. Hey, we had to do our part, man.
And, so I think that's a common theme. I
Yeah.
think people were just doing what they could to not only support their friends and family and all of that,
Yeah.
but just coping,
yeah.
Hey, you're talking about. We bought a bar. I immediately bought a garage fridge because I knew I'd need more space for all the beer.
Well,
That's really helped the
Hey,
health.
as,
Smart
scene.
thinking.
as much
Like,
as
give me
I
a garage fridge.
That's right.
as much as I would love to do this for 2 more hours, and we might after the show's over.
I'll go
Dylan,
quickly.
Dill, close us out here. What was an overwhelmingly positive memory for you with COVID?
Well, and I'm probably in the minority with my current full-time profession. I'm in home improvement and home improvement sales, and we boomed.
Yeah.
It was
'Cause
record.
everybody was at home.
Everyone's stuck at home and
Yeah.
going,
Everybody
that project
was
we
at
put out for
home.
a decade.
Yeah.
Here it is. All right, fine.
We had record years. We had record sales. I did great financially. It was a totally opposite of what you may hear in the news.
Yeah.
So COVID was was weird. I was at people's homes, in mask, and we'd go over these fixes, 6 feet apart or outside, it was really creative, but we boomed. It was professionally, it was fantastic, honestly. It was odd, but that part happened.
Yeah.
And then this opportunity came up because of this. So I'm typically a glass half full person on pretty much everything in life, and what actually happened during the pandemic, I totally understand and feel like I'm in the minority, but professionally, it was absolutely amazing for me in my career on both fronts. So that's just kind of probably a backwards to most other people's story, but it's been great professionally. Personally, it's a little bit of a different story, right? Family members, catching the virus and being weird with people. I'm a very social person, so that was quite different.
There was a few meals for sure that we did not have with our parents because they were high risk. And
100%. Christmas should have gotten canceled. With some family members that we didn't knowingly even they had the virus.
I went nearly 18 months without hugging my mom.
That part
Brutal.
And I don't want to be too much here, but you're my brother. We're on the show, and so we our father during this past year went through a very serious surgery to the point to where my mom called me and said, "Hey, you need to call your dad, and this might be the last time you talk to him." And it was weird for Dylan and I that he was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and we saw him 0 days.
Never.
We weren't allowed to visit him in the hospital. And I would give him a call, and he would answer if he was awake or if his phone was fully charged and someone plugged it in for him. And so it was really bizarre to go through your father being in the hospital and not being able to visit him.
That was awful. That was awful. That was scary times. The question was about positive times.
Yes,
I want to stick on positive times. Time with my wife's a teacher. Okay, that March we left for spring break, and she never went back to work. Yeah. It was great. I've never been able to spend that much time with my family. I've got 2 young kids, now 7 and 3, that had nowhere to be. And they were at home. They played.
I'm sure
we
as
went
kids,
on
you're going to look
trips.
back at this time and go like, I got to have my parents and I got to have my siblings with me for a whole year.
Yeah, personally, that was just a massive positive.
Yeah.
My work, fortunately enough, I can be very flexible with my schedule. And, hey, we want to go to the zoo today? Cool, let's go.
That's awesome.
Whatever we wanted to. Well, I say the zoo. The zoo was open.
Were the animals wearing masks?
Yeah, so. You want to go to the mountains? You want to go do whatever. Yeah. The family time was amazing, particularly with a couple of young kids. That was the biggest positive on the personal side. Was that time that we can't get back, Yeah.
Right.
We're back teaching. Graham's in school now. I'm working full time. We can't gain that time that we had during the pandemic back.
Yeah, that's a huge
Cherished
benefit and
time.
exactly. Those are memories that you all will cherish on a positive note from the pandemic for a long time. I recently went back to work and my dog is pissed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah.
I think we took good advantage of it. I really do. And I think we were intentional of taking advantage of it. So that was good.
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, folks. It makes me sad. But,
Especially so because I didn't get to hear any embarrassing stories about Zach, and those were my biggest questions.
all right. Kate and Dylan, you have 30 seconds to tell an embarrassing story of me, but you probably don't have one.
Kate can say that you forgot about that.
I told mine.
Thing,
That was on the tip of my tongue.
I will tell you really quickly, Candace, one of my favorite memories of Kate.
Okay, yeah.
Kate and I both have a friend that passed away.
Oh.
And I had purchased a vehicle that this individual had inspired me to purchase.
Ben?
Yes.
Oh.
And after his passing, Kate, Adam, and I drove that van around and listened to music and thought about him and spent time together. And that's one of my favorite memories with you, Kate.
That's awesome.
I'll never forget that.
Why are you trying to make me cry?
This is the saddest.
It was. I think about that day.
We got emotional. Will you bring in past
was an
and
awesome
history?
day, though. That
It
was
was a
so
great day.
therapeutic
Yeah.
and needed. And Yeah, that was really fun though, just driving around and like not thinking about
Didn't even
it.
know where I was going. Just hit
We
the
went-
road, and we went to Maryville, and just,
Yeah, we did, and walked around the campus there. Adam took a nap in the van.
yeah.
That was a
It-
very special.
That's one of
thing.
my favorite memories of you.
That's
and
awesome.
I together. So.
Totally.
Awesome.
Dylan, you got 10 seconds. Embarrassing story.
Go for it, please.
No.
You have a lifetime's worth of them. Come on.
Come on.
No, he's not that embarrassed.
Fine, then I'm going to set up a side podcast where I'm going to come in. Tell me.
I'm with you, Ace. Let's do it.
I'll tell you.
You can drill. You
let's
can
just
drill.
say,
Yeah.
let's just
Drill
say
all you want.
Dylan got married when he was 24.
Yeah.
And at his bachelor party, I was 20.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got you in everywhere though.
And so there's some fun stories there.
Okay. All right.
We got you in.
All right, Cam.
Yeah.
You and I, Dylan. We're
All
gonna
right,
set it
that'll
up.
Are
be
we gonna set up
be
a little private
a little
one?
podcast.
Patreon content only.
That's right.
Do
that's
not
right.
tempt me with a good time.
Oh,
I
you
wanna
sign
hear
up
embarrassing
at
stories.
Patreon.com.
Ace and Cam production.
Little podcast exclusive.
Yeah, if you sign up at
Kate, Dylan,
squared.
Thank you.
for being here. Thanks for being a part of the show.
I'm honored to be here, Zach.
Love you guys.
We love
Thank
you all
for
so
being here.
much, and I know it's sacrilegious to cheers with an empty glass, but we're pretty dried out here. Let's do it anyways.
I need help.
Cheers, y'all. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We
Thanks,
got
Z.
you.
Cheers.
Kate, pleasure.
There's a sip. There's a sip left.
Perfect.
Striker,
All right.
play something
Yeah.
sad.
All right, folks.
I actually
It's
don't have
Emo's
anything
happy
to
hour
say,
coming
but-
We are
Back up.
we're gonna
Get the
take a
energy
quick
back up.
little musical break. When we come back from this musical break, Ace and I are going to read off a list of events happening this week you don't want to miss out on, and we're going to give you guys a teaser for who's our guest next week.
Yes.
Striker,
Hey,
what
Kevin,
are we listening
Kevin, can you play a Grateful Dead song?
Kevin, can you play a
Not
modern
on that
baseball
short of a
song?
notice. But since we were talking a lot about South Knoxville
Oh,
and about
yeah.
some local area high schools,
Oh, yes.
I have a song by a South Knoxville native musician and his band. The musician's name is Brent Smith.
Yes.
And this is his band, Avenged Sevenfold, with Afterlife.
Nice.